Holy suffering succotash. We have an unbelievable lineup for you today. I'm excited just to be able to present this to you. So we are going through Pokemon boxes that were exclusive only to artists and like upper management. We're going to break down that a little bit. We're going to go over where the Logan Paul Pikachu card is sitting. We are going to go over StockX that now has their culture index for 2026. So if you're wondering what has been super hot, we're going to be covering that. We've also found some articles that for forecasting collectibles, pushing the limits upwards of like insane numbers that feel like it's not even comprehensible at the time right now. So today, let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining. This is a video coming from Golden, and they are talking about a Pokemon pack case that I assure you, you have never heard of before.
In about a month, Pokemon will celebrate its 30th anniversary. And to celebrate that event, let's talk about a piece of history. This is the 2021 Creatures deck, created by Creatures Inc., the company behind the Pokemon TCG, to celebrate the Pokemon 25th anniversary. In this deck, every card celebrates a different year in Pokemon's history. Whether it's the 1995 Chansey prototype, the 1996 base set Charizard, or cards like Rocket's Zapdos. This set is incredibly rare, only given to employees and illustrators for the Pokemon Company. With less than 400 of these created, they were never meant to be sold. This 25th anniversary Pokemon Creatures corporate deck is available now in our Pokemon and TCG auction at Gold.
Like, is that not kind of cool? Is that not kind of cool? These things that were never supposed to be sold. It's like doing something that's like illegal, you know, you're not supposed to, but for whatever reason, it's like, wow, what a thrill. Maybe that's a horrible reference. Now that I say that out loud, my God. And with 33 days of the auction left to go, if you check out the Golden website, you'll see that with the buyer's premium, which is insane that there is that much of an increase in price for the buyer's premium. It is about $6 million right now, and allegedly Golden thinks this could go upwards of $12 million plus. Still a lot of room to go. We will see what comes of that. This is probably one of the coolest things that I've seen regarding trading cards and the sports world. If you've not seen, LeBron James will wear a special edition 23rd season jersey patch beginning tonight in Sacramento. Now, this was yesterday, the city where he began his legendary career in 2003. The patches will be removed from his jersey after each game, and some will be placed into ultra rare trading cards. So are they going to take the ones that are only if he's got wins? What exactly are we doing? Because who cares? Just throw all of them into a single barrel. Because one thing that I learned today is when you see these trading cards that are all labeled one of ones, there's multiple one of ones of it. So it's not even that special to begin with. And I don't mean necessarily for LeBron. I just mean in general. So what the hell? What do you mean some of the patches are going to go in cards? Just throw them all, make them different colors, and make them one of ones. Lego and Pokemon. This is already sold out, so don't get your hopes up too high. But the amount of discourse that is gone on social media regarding this is insane. So let's watch the video and then break it down a little bit.
In a world of taxes, instead of gym badges, one trainer is about to remember who he really is.
It is official. Our reports confirm that Lego Pokemon creatures are finally here and have started appearing around the world.
Eevee.
More on this as the story develops, so please stay tuned.
Blastoise. Venusaur. Pikachu. No way.
Your time has come, and Destiny doesn't care about lower back pain. Welcome to the Lego Pokémon world.
Ethan, what's going on?
We're gonna catch and build them all.
Join the scavenger hunt at lego.com.
the backwards cap thing just what the who the hell is the creative director on that decided? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the big thing with this is coming out at like $650. The pre-orders are already sold out for it. I posted a video. If you go over to my YouTube Shorts page, the comments are insane. We've gotten like 20,000 views on it. I was shocked. It was just just whatever, right? But the craziness around this and the fact that they built the ad or designed it specifically for adults is very interesting. That it's not really geared towards kids in that sense. But I mean, maybe it's the price range. I don't really know. Either way, kind of a clever ad, but this has caused so much discourse from just the price perspective, but then also people now wanting to flip it. And this was some discourse that happened around a Death Star in Star Wars. I saw somebody comment that was making a reference saying, you know, they had a Death Star Lego collaboration before, and people were like, wow, these are really expensive, but then they ended up flipping for like multiple thousands of dollars. And it was like, oh, all right. Well, if you got the cash to spend, well, there you go. And everybody's wanting your cash. Upper Deck with the Allure set that's dropping soon. One of the funniest things about this, because I'm really trying to grasp everything around these trading cards and the different sets and what's what and what's cool, what's blah. They have these 16-bit cards. It just looks ridiculous. I kind of want to collect them just for the sake of how funny the things look. And here's another example for a Montreal Canadian player. And it's just, I don't know. I guess if it's aesthetically pleasing of any sort or brings you joy, well, there you go. And in the TCG realm, Palworld now announcing that they are doing a trading card game. And all anybody is talking about is the lawsuit between Nintendo and Palworld. They're not even really saying, oh yeah, like I'm really excited to play this. It's just bringing up the reference to that because that is still news for whatever reason. And Topps highlighting just this cool card. Thought I would share it with you. Shohei Ohtani, Ichiro, and Hideki Matsui, a couple of Japanese icons, and just a really neat triple auto card on that front. Switching things to soccer and or football, depending on where you're from. If you were to guess the most sold kits in 2025, what would you have predicted? Well, if you said Real Madrid in 1, Barcelona in 2, PSG in 3, Bayern Munich in 4, and Inter Miami at 5, wow. Again, I've watched Inter Miami the whole year. I'll probably watch it again next year. Major League Soccer, great times. Keep also bringing up that the World Cup is this year. And we'll get to an article in a minute that somebody's predicting that soccer cards as a whole are going to see a huge uptick because of it. But Inter Miami, insane. The fact that there is no English Premier League team in the top 5, that is the big takeaway for myself. So StockX, let's take a look at their breakdown here for their culture index of 2026. This report outlines the brands, products, and trends that shape the market in 2025. Nearly 200 brands set new trade records in 2025. And in sneakers, it has ASICS first, apparel, Fear of God. For accessories, it's Nike. And then collectibles and trading cards, it's got Pop Mart on there, Barbie, Bratz, Taylor Swift, and then Magic the Gathering, which sort of an odd list. I wouldn't have expected Bratz to be amongst this, but again, not necessarily the target demographic, but still kind of crazy. And again, if you want to pause the stream just to look at these and look over them right quick, feel free. For sneakers, the top brand is Nike in number 1, and then Jordan, Adidas, New Balance, and then ASICS. The fastest growing sneaker brands is Mizuno. I feel like I don't know if it was ASICS. I think it was Mizuno shoes when I was growing up. Or no, it was Saucony. Yeah, it was Saucony. I remember those. And they're in 3rd for the fastest growing. Honorable mentions, Converse and Vans. It's kind of cool. For shoes, the top brands are UGG, right? That's UGG, right? Adidas, Crocs, Nike, and then Timberland. I have an old pair of NBA Timberland shoes, and they're probably my most favorite shoes that I have in the closet. Apparel, Fear of God, I haven't heard of it before. Well, I mean, it's just like everyday life. 2, you got Supreme. 3, Nike, Yeezy, and then Bape, which we've seen a lot of different collabs within the Web3 realm with Bape, and that is up there, fastest growing apparel. Okay, so this is interesting because Uniqlo, I don't know. In some bigger malls, I've seen that store, and it's usually pretty packed. But the fact that Juice World, like the artist, is number 5. That is amazing. And then top brands for accessories: Supreme, Nike, Sprayground. Keep it on going here. Okay, collectibles and electronics. Woohoo! Let's go. Number 1, Pop Mart. So the Labubu of sorts. Number 2, Lego Bear Brick, which we saw a collaboration with Pudgy Penguins earlier. I was going to say earlier this year, but technically that would now be last year. So if you're wondering where Bear Brick stands on that, number 3, Supreme, and then Cause at the bottom, and then over in electronics, Sony, Canon, Nintendo, Nvidia, and Apple. So a look ahead, World Cup's wide-reaching influence. The 2026 World Cup will have big influence on brands and their release calendars in 2026. I think retro soccer cleats brought back as lifestyle shoes, deeper collaborations between established streetwear labels and soccer teams and clubs, and an increase in the supply and visibility of traditional kits and jerseys. As a truly global cultural moment, the tournament has the potential to accelerate soccer's integration into mainstream consumer culture in ways we haven't seen before in the U.S. market. Do we think that just because it's in the U.S. that it's going to have that much of an uptick? I'm trying to think, because it's been a few years since we had the World Cup, but because of the host city, I feel like if the tournaments are really good and the U.S. like ends up doing well, and same with, you know, like Mexico, Canada, whoever else. I think Canada's in the tournament, right? Yeah, I think so. I have no idea. But it's one of those things. It's like, I think that if you get the community that's around it, like use the Toronto Blue Jays as an example. When they went into the World Series, the cultural significance of that, it was not understood, I think, for anybody that wasn't like in Canada at that time. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was watching it. Like, you were not like, there was power outages in the area that I was during it, and people were leaving. They were trying to find places that had the game on. Like, it was otherworldly. Very, very cool. Bad Bunny's big year. You have Nike's builds back. All eyes on the Olympics. Trading cards positioned for success. And then it's got Phantasmal Flames, Topps Chrome SpongeBob edition, and then the Final Fantasy at Magic the Gathering. We'll read this quick. The trading card category is poised for another big year, with a strong release calendar and high resale values helping to fuel momentum. Major brands such as Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and Topps continue to post year-over-year sales growth on StockX, with average resale prices increasing as well. Traditional sports cards remain the backbone of the market and vital to brands like Topps. But growth is increasingly being propelled by expansion into non-sports and pop culture franchises, which, to add to that, we've seen when they're saying non-sports, the grading for just TCGs that are non-sport is significant. So there's been a huge uptick. From Disney characters to major motion pictures like Dune, these products can broaden the buyer base and attract crossover collections. Additionally, Pokemon, one of the biggest players in the category, is celebrating its 30th anniversary and expected to roll out several high-demand products to commemorate the milestone. And for Topps, baseball 75th anniversary, we can go down a list. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, 25th anniversary. They're doing like a whole magazine tour. They're doing a whole bunch of releases of things. And apparently, I saw it the other day where there is going to be even more Lord of the Rings films being done, or there was more in J.R. Tolkien's world. I forget what it is, but now saying that out loud, of course there's going to be more Lord of the Rings. So what the hell is going on? Cutesy collectibles will stay, but brand loyalty may be short-lived. So this is maybe a dig on Labubu. I haven't read this part just yet, but there's a thing called Twinkle Twinkle that apparently is like the new Labubu competitor. So curious if this is kind of referencing that aspect, that it's going to have ebbs and flows. Cutesy collectibles are firmly entrenched in the resale market thanks to the kidult trend. I've heard that maybe 10 times in the past couple months. Ongoing use of accessories to personalize a bag or an entire look, and the strong appetite for comfort and nostalgia. That said, we may see individual brands continue to rise and fall rather than dominate long term. Squishmallows came and went, and Labubu's volatility shows how explosive growth can quickly cool without fresh storytelling or true rarity. London-based brand Jellycat stands out in the near term, with sales and search interest rising on StockX. Looking ahead to 2026, the strongest performers will be brand that balance cuteness with community narrative and controlled supply. And then the re-commerce momentum, broad re-commerce momentum will only accelerate in 2026, powered by live shopping growth, the vintage boom, and consumers increasingly skipping retail for resale first shopping. I need to think of like how the hell we could do live shopping. I'm not really selling anything right now, but one day maybe we will get into it. So that is the update from StockX. This Jing Daily highlighted this Twinkle Twinkle. I'm just bringing it up for the sake of if you see it. There you go. Now you're familiar with it. But again, the cute cuddly brands, how well do they do? I need to take a breath for a second because this one is shocking to me. So Rolling Stone, the magazine company, is doing keepsake trading cards for Bob Marley. Now, this article came out on December 2nd. You're able to buy the cards now. But if I were to tell you that it is $100 per card, what would you say? You can buy a box of 6 for $600. Like, there's not even a deal. Like, I really don't understand that at all. Still, like, super cool. You can get 4 interest-free installments for $54. I mean, again, like, I want to look at this and be like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I mean, it comes with a wooden case. Obviously, Bob Marley is a huge person. This is a collectible piece. But $100 a card. Oh my goodness, that just seems kind of outrageous. Now, moving over to Golden, again, continuing to have some pretty cool things. The Empire Strikes Back. This is the Clapperboard. Imagine having the authentic one just laying around in your house. That is kind of cool. Now, I thought this was maybe fake of some sorts, but this is a real clip from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the crash out at the last second is wild. So don't have your volume too loud.
Pikachu is primarily what color? Red, yellow, green, blue.
I don't know any of these. Answer, I'd like to go ahead and ask the expert.
It's B. It's yellow.
Sherry, there's no question in your mind. You're sure one.
Don't ask me again!
Pikachu is primarily...
Just absolutely loses his cool on that front. Some that when people were commenting that, because I read the comments before seeing the clip, I was like, "What? Why are we yelling over this?" And that was that. So then I continued going on to scour the web to find out what else I could find. And back in 1999, there was this.
Comes for $500,000. Let's play. Which of the following characters is not considered a Pokemon? Jigglypuff, Frodo, Squirtle, Pikachu.
I gotta use a 50-50 now, or you just...
All right, fine. Sure, we can get that done. Computer, please take away 2 of the wrong answers, leaving Toby the 1 wrong answer and 1 correct one, please. Not considered a Pokemon, Jigglypuff or Frodo? Now all the lifelines are gone. Just take your time.
That's right.
Is your little boy involved in Pokemon yet?
Too young.
How about you? Do you play?
No.
Neither do I.
It wasn't until very recently I did not even know what a Pokemon was. God, my nephew back in Texas is having a cow right now.
A cow?
A cow.
Sounds painful. But I guess that's what you have in Texas, right?
That's right. Regis, as much as I'd like to go for the $1 million, I can't walk away. I can't leave $250,000 on the table. I don't feel good enough about this. I'm going to walk away.
Oh my gosh. All right, fine.
You were a great contestant. You really.
Frodo or Jigglypuff? Now I'm saying that from my high horse of like huge Lord of the Rings fan and Pokemon. Like I know the answer to that, but oh my god, what an absolute nostalgia clip. And this one is going to get added to that as well. If you happen to watch the Texans and Steelers game last night, you might have seen this, but this is maybe the best gift I've ever seen.
What this might be. Oh, wow. Whoa,
yeah,
what?
We got some playing cards. We got some.
So it's a trading card board of everyone that intercepted Peyton Manning. What an unbelievable gift. What an unbelievable gift. I think that's hilarious. But also with the trading card realm, bada bing, bada boom. And Leaf Trading Cards posting a bit about their metal sports heroes. Okay? So we look at the signatures and we're like, all right. They're kind of weird, right? But all right, whatever. Not bad. I mean, it's a pretty good cluster of them, right? What is this? What? How could you even tell these are the athletes to begin with? Like, I guess Peyton Manning, like, kind of put an effort, but you can't read that one. Ryan, like, if I'm going to do an R, that is like, I mean, okay, so I guess the R, sure, I was doing the motion. Ryan L. Okay, that's not, sure, we can pass it. And these are just like straight up normal writing. Unreal. Stuff's great. And one thing that I need to crash out a little bit about, I've seen every other day somebody pulling a new one-of-one Cooper Flagg. Apparently, within this Topps Chrome release, there's like 20 to 30 one-of-one Cooper Flaggs. Like, what are we even doing? Why is there that many? Insane. All right, vocal.media, okay? This is AI generated. So do we take this at face value? It's right by the Renub research, okay? Published about 8 hours ago. It's bold. The collectibles market size and forecast from 2025 to 2033. And it is predicting from 2024, which I guess is like the last time they have like accurate stats to this, to 2033, it is going to go from a 291.66 billion market to a 480.75 billion market. Wow. So this goes back to the argument where we've seen on news stations and a lot of notable individuals claiming that the collectibles market is currently at 100 billion right now. To then look at this and say, okay, well, in 2024, they said it was 291 billion. Again, personally, I'm still like lost in the sauce of how the hell that is supposed to work. Once viewed primarily as a niche hobby, Collectibles has matured into a dynamic global marketplace where passion meets portfolio diversification. The integration of online platforms, blockchain-based authentication, and social commerce has transformed how collectors discover, verify, and trade items. At the same time, nostalgia-driven demand and the emergence of limited edition releases across entertainment, sports, and lifestyle brands have a intensified market activity. Together, these forces are positioning collectibles as one of the most resilient and culturally significant segments of the global consumer economy. Okay, so just scrolling here, and you'll notice on the first thing here, it says growing digitalization and online marketplaces. Digital platforms have revolutionized how collectibles are bought, sold, and discovered. Online auction houses, peer-to-peer marketplaces, and social commerce channels provide global reach, price transparency, and real-time liquidity. Blockchain-based authentication tools and digital certificates of ownership are increasingly used to verify provenance and combat counterfeit risks. The emergence of NFTs and digital collectibles has further expanded participation, particularly among tech-savvy and younger collectors. Mobile apps, virtual showrooms, and augmented reality experiences enhance engagement and accessibility. As digital infrastructure deepens worldwide, online platforms will remain a cornerstone of market expansion, driving both transaction volumes and trust. Now, I don't necessarily want to go through the entire article here, but again, if you're wanting to check that out, if you just type in collectibles market size and forecast 2025 to 2033, you'll be able to find that and continue to go down the list. Now, what we will go and do, though, is there was a really cool article from Collect that was kind of breaking down some points from some bigger people within the industry, just talking about similar to like the forecast of collectibles. This was what are some of the early trends. So Brian Doyer is saying, we've seen some of the contracts between major sports leagues and card manufacturers shift, including the NBA's partnership with Topps resuming after a 15-year hiatus. So there will be likely be some really interesting modern card innovations and designs on the horizon that I'm excited to see. There's a ton of potential for innovation here, and collectors should be excited about it. Elizabeth Grun, we have seen One Piece submissions trending upwards recently. The latest release, OP13, has had great reception, and there's a lot of excitement for the Red Manga Rare Chase cards. This will be an important part of the TCG collecting space as collectors seek to diversify their collections away from just Pokemon. So we have one person that's really all about One Piece. We have another person that's saying they think just generally there's going to be some shakeups with how the manufacturers and everything work, which is interesting. David Hunt, it's almost impossible to not be aware of the chance-related or mystery packaging trends that continue to grow within the hobby. Even with vintage materials, we see that element of chase within certain products that ultimately has become the main sales driver. So we just talked about like the 30 Cooper Flagg one-of-ones that people are buying for $50,000 to $100,000 plus dollars. Bonkers. Many feel great concern over this trend. My concerns really lie more in the long-term effects rather than the current trend itself. Ooh. Eventually, if the supply and demand becomes wholly related to the value or chase of certain items rather than the pursuit or collectability, then it is a very slippery slope as to what happens with the overall market when value wanes at any given time. And I think anybody that's watching the trade card market lately, but you just nodding your head along like, yep, it seems like the speculation side is really what's driving almost everything right now. Adam Ireland, interest in live shopping continues to grow. We've seen this in all key metrics across our eBay Live experience. We've been thoughtfully scaling, eBay Live to be the destination for the hobby to shop and connect. I'm excited about the year ahead for eBay Live. Chris Ivy, one of the areas of the market that hasn't been fully appreciated or leveraged yet are period signed vintage cards versus one signed later in life by the athlete. How in the heck would you be able to tell that? Like, that's something that I feel you would need some kind of like blockchain authentication for. So period signed vintage cards versus one signed later in life by the athlete. Like, unless they change their signature, how the hell could you tell that? Because somebody could have like an older card and then get it signed today, right? I'm trying to fully grasp the one. In most cases, the difference in scarcity between cards signed during the era of issue versus all others is immense. Yet the price premium don't truly reflect that gap in rarity. Maybe I'm just a fish and don't understand that. So feel free to leave a comment if you understand that differently than me. Sometimes it takes a large public offering and corresponding result to get the masses to notice. I feel like we are on the precipice of a more meaningful market swing in that direction. Third-party services have yet to document the difference, but if they ever did, the disparity in existing populations of period signed cards versus those signed later would be staggering. Even without a move to distinguish them by these services, I feel like the buyers are ready to make theirs. I'm not going to lie, completely lost in the sauce on that one. I have no idea what in the halibut that is supposed to mean overall. And then one final thing that I do want to leave you with, guys, we just did drop a new episode of the RWA SegMints podcast. I was able to talk with Sylvan Horwood, and this guy is high-spirited. He worked in the banking industry and finances and then really got into organic, 100% natural skincare, sun care, all of that stuff. And now jumping in to have different collectibles branded on their products like Pudgy Penguins. So here's a quick look of that and what kind of the product actually looks like.
Traditional IP licensing can take 6 months at least of negotiations, right? In many ways, if you're lucky, if you know people within the licensing company, and then it can still fall apart, right? and you have to pay upfront fees. There's even trailing fees and different minimum amounts. I think you have to sell with big IP licensing companies. Whereas, yeah, with certainly the Pudgy Penguin licensing, right? It was, you know, a few clicks of setting up your project and seeing who wants to apply, right? I mean, it's like a massive difference, right? And a real big efficiency gain.
That's kind of like an example of him just talking about the IP rights and doing that because he got a bunch of people to submit and then pay them for their usage of their Pudgy Penguins. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Again, if you have a friend that you want to share this with, I've been trying to get the word out about the streams and everything we've been doing. Very much appreciate you guys watching. If you want to leave a like on the video, any comments as well, I'll see you guys tomorrow as per usual, but have yourself a good one. Peace. That's the wrong screen.